Okay, we are starting soon. So I haven't streamed for a while due to work being busy, and also personal life is also busy. So yeah, I haven't streamed for a few months, and now I hopefully I'm back. I don't know if it's gonna get busy again at work, but I'm gonna try to get back to regular streaming schedule. So yeah, still gonna be PST in the morning, 5 a.m. Well, maybe 6 a.m. And I'm gonna live stream live coding GitHub as just like before. So GitHub currently is in a state that is not building because I made too much changes. Can't even count how many changes, how many places I've broken right now. But this is the dev branch. It contains many changes that I'm hopefully going to roll out soon, if everything goes well. But just a quick recap since it's been a while. Previously, I switched one of the API calls to GraphQL, so this is the one. Get pull request GraphQL, right? So essentially, this is getting the actually this is not the most descriptive name. So essentially, I'm getting the pull request. But really, what that means is that I'm getting the timeline items. Mainly, this is for getting the timeline items. Yeah, because there are many things in the pull request, right? So there's the commits, the files, there's the conversations, there's the checks. So there are like many things that are in the pull request. So this is not the best name, but get pull request. Let's call it something else, like get pull request. Let's go to the reference. This thing, right? So let's call it get pull request timeline item. Right. Yeah, I think this is a better way of naming it. And flipping back here, I'm thinking if it makes sense to return the pull request detail in that case, since everything inside, since we only need this one. Yeah, I'm thinking about it too. What's a node again? So okay, a node here is as a total counts and all the nodes in the page info. So yeah, we can have that. So you know what? Maybe what we should do in this case, you know what? We'll just return this for now. But we do need to change the name. So this needs to be timeline items. Yeah, so anyways, so this is the query that gets all of the timeline items in a pull request. So timeline items means the conversations, like the description, the comments, the reviews, of the git change history, briefly at least, right? And for example, if we add a label, that's an event, also count as a timeline item. So all of those things needs to be on the pull request page, right? So to display all of those UIs on that page, I need to get data. And previously I had a method like this. It's kind of messy, right? I explained this many times in my previous stream. It's messy. It makes many API calls, and potentially many more if I'm gonna do commit conversations, right? Commit comments. So that means one API call for each commit. So it's like That's a non-starter for this one, at least. So what I'm gonna do, so it's not what I'm gonna do. What I'm doing for this one is that I'm replacing it with the GraphQL query. The query is quite long, to be honest. Right, this is on the left is the query. So the top part, like all of this, few hundred lines of query is the query part. So these are all the things I am fetching, right? All the way down here to like 600 lines or something. And everything else from here on now are the definitions for the fields that are shared. So think of them like classes in C#, right? So these are the things that are that defines the timeline items and the fields inside of them. So what I have done so far is that I have this query in GitHub. It's right here, right? I'm getting this from my local file, and I'm using this query, and I'm making an API call to the query with the parameters, right? So the owner and the name defines which repo to go to, and number defines which pull request to go to, and per page means I'm only getting like 50 items per page because, well, if you take a look at the way the query is structured, so first of all, we are getting a certain number of timeline items, right? So I'm getting the first 50. So pretty much 50 is going to be the number that I use for the per page parameter. They require us to input a number here because you cannot just ask for indefinite amount of data, right? So you have to paginate somehow, because otherwise they don't know how much to return. And that could mean a lot, since GraphQL it's not like a REST API where the endpoint gets to define a default value if you don't pass in, right? So they don't get to define the default value because you can literally ask for everything in a GraphQL query. So they are defining that you can only ask for a certain amount of data, and that's calculated somewhere somehow. So for example, this is the level that I'm asking for 50, right? So remember, this level is 50, and somewhere in the child level, like somewhere even down in the tree of this query, we also have, for example, this is one of the timeline item type. It's called a commit, PR comment commit, right? So that means this is a commit with some comments in it, and the number of comments can be indefinite, right? Like you don't know how much comment you have in a certain commit, so you need to also define a number here for that. And what does this mean for the total number of piece of data that you're returning? You could have 50 commits, and each of them can have 20 comments in them, right? So you multiply that together, that gives you 1,000. So like pretty much they're capping on that number, is that you're multiplying the number you're getting for the parent item to the number of item you're getting for the children items. So that's how they calculate the maximum amount of nodes you're asking from this query. So they do have a cap on that, so I have to define this to be 50, right, and this to be 20. And it's going to be easier for me to paginate on the parent level, so I'm going to do 50, and then I'm going to do the next 50, which pretty much all makes sense, right? But there's going to be a challenge when there are more than 20 comments in the commit. So pagination in these child items is pretty much going to be from the user's interaction, like pagination for the timeline items themselves. I'm going to do that with basically just scrolling. So if you scroll down and you hit the bottom of the list will just fetch you the next 50 items, right? but I can't really do that for the comments since they're nested inside of the list. I can't really, like, if you reach to that point and then I fetch more for that. So what I'm going to do for these ones is that I'm going to fetch the 20 and then I'm going to see if there's more. So if there is, I'm going to place a button there, be like load more, and you can, as a user, you can just click on the load more button to load more comments specifically in that child component. So yeah, this is pretty much what I have done so far. But what this really means for GitHub, right? It is faster for sure. It is faster for sure because you're only making we're only making one API calls right now. Even though it is a big API call with many pieces of data, it's going to be dramatically faster than what we used to do here. The second thing is that, well, since we're switching completely to making the API call ourselves, it is very hard to fit it into our existing model. So I'm parsing everything. I have defined all the models that I'm going to use, and I'm going to return it. So right now I'm working on fitting that data model into my view model so my view still works, right? So just give you a rough estimate of what I have broken that I need to fix. So this is the list right here. So these are all the data templates for every single type of timeline item that we need to support. There are quite a few. Not all of them needs to be dramatically changed. Most likely it's just gonna be, oh, I need to fit my, for example, commit DTO instead of commit, right? Like there's a class change and there might be some members that are different. And it might mean UI changes, but might not in most cases. But this is the list that I have to go through. Like there are quite a few things that needs to be changed, right? So starting from this line, everything that I've selected, these are events, right? Like all of the events needs to be updated, and for most of the events, I don't even know what they are, right? Like it is very obvious to see, oh, close event, you're close the pull request, but like what does it mean for this connected event, right? Deployment, I haven't even done that in GitHub, so I don't even know what that means. So some of these are very challenging and kind of abstract in a way that I don't really know how to deal with it, but I guess we'll deal with it when the time comes. Yeah, so far I've broken many things by changing classes. So I'm gonna solve for each one of them. Hopefully in the end we'll get to a good solution that compiles. Currently it doesn't even compile, right? So right here what happens is that since I have changed what used to be comments, right? What used to be conversation notes to timeline items, I need to also pass in repo as piece of data. So what I'm trying to do is to pass in a custom repo object instead of the repository class from OctoKit, right? OctoKit is the official GitHub SDK. I'm trying to rely on the SDK less and less, so in the future I can kind of modularize GitHub into different projects, right? It's kind of a better way to manage the project. So less dependencies on certain part of the app, it's certainly going to be better. But what that means is that I have to switch out the object. So repo, this is the activity view model, and activity view model has a I believe a repo object. Yeah, so here we go, right? So the repo object has been changed to a repo DTO. It used to be repository from OctoKit, but right now I don't have this dependency, right? You see it's grayed out. So the best part is I get to delete it, right? So imagine in the future I can lift the entirety of the view model folder into its own project, and that project does not need to rely on OctoKit anymore, right? And what that could mean in the future right? Like what way into the future is that GitHub might be able to support another service, right? It's not only GitHub anymore. It could be like many services that can be supported because everything could be abstracted away. So yeah, that's the main idea of using my own model instead of using OctoKit. But what this means is that I'm breaking backward compatibility right here. Like right here, I'm breaking it, right? Like I'm setting repo to whatever this is, activity repo, and activity is from OctoKit, so this is it's not gonna fly. Same thing over here as well. So I'm switching what used to be commit to commit DTO, and yeah, that's not playing well. So I guess what I'm gonna need for this, I can see what I need from this object, and from there I'll see how I can construct something of my own. Hopefully that'll work. Yeah, so they do have like these properties, right? So message, author, they have the tree for some reason. Well, let's see what the tree is. Git reference, right? So yeah, they have a few Git references. So there's node ID, there's URL label, the ref, the SHA user, but this user is it's also a GitHub user. So repository, so a bunch of things. All right, that makes sense. And the parents, I can have multiple parent apparently. Comment count. We may have the whole list of the comment if I use what's from my side, right? Oh, what's happening here? Oh, progressed timeline items. There we go. Let's close the distractions. Okay, where was I? Let's see here. So this is the activity view model that's used for push activity. So what I'm thinking is that we can just go into the UI, right, and see exactly what we're using from that model, and we can shoehorn it into shoehorn what we have in our own model into it. So right here I'm using view model dot actor view model dot repo. The repo needs to have a default branch. Oh yeah, I need this. Right. So yeah, we do need quite a bit of information. Repo name. Yeah, that's okay. Repo name. Actually, you know what? I'm kind of relying on the repo name to be the full name of the repo. So right now, this is not gonna fly for what we have, right? So repo name. Let's see, where's the repo name? Yeah, right here. We're just returning repo dot name. So let's actually call this repo. How many references does this have? Let's search for you know what? It's fine. We'll go to the, where's the repo? There you go. We'll go to that. So it seems like our definition for the repo DTO is not very complete. So let's see what we can do in that case, right? So right here we have the query that returns a repo, and we can actually return much more data from that. So repository has many things, right? It has many things. So it can have a list of assignable users. So a list of users that can be assigned to issue in this repository. So this thing is already very useful. But anyways, auto merge allowed. So far not needed. Code of conduct. That's gonna be helpful, right? If we need that. Code owners. Cool. Commit comments. Oh, it's a bunch of things that are, yeah. All right. Create it. Maybe we need to create it right? It seems like, yeah, it seems like a crucial piece of data to have. Daytime. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to a user DTO, iLoginable. Oh, that's not gonna help. That's not gonna help. So what we have here in the DTOs, we have commit ID. So for the dates, we're using date time offset. Okay, so yeah, we'll do the same for that. So copy this, paste it here, and we'll say create it at, right? And we're gonna use system for this. Create it at data set. Not problem, not gonna need it. What else? Description. Description is good to have. They render it to HTML. I wonder if I want that. But yes, we do need description. So public string description. What else? Discussion, no discussion. I'm gonna do this separately. Environment fork count. Yeah, that'd be useful. All right. Forking allowed. Yeah, that's also gonna be useful. Sounds like swearing. Forking allowed. Anyways, forking, founding links. Maybe in the future. I'm not too sure at this point. Project enabled, wiki enabled. Yeah, none of these are super useful to us at this moment. Homepage URL. Maybe. ID. We do have ID. Interaction ability is archived. Blank issue enabled, disabled, empty, is fork. Yep. Oh, come on. All right, there we go, is forked. Yeah, but I'm just adding whatever I'm using right now. Because I can't really plan for the future at the same time fixing things I've broken. So I'm just gonna do one thing at a time, only adding in things I'm using right now. Is private. All right. Security policy enabled is template. Issue, nope, no, none of these. License info, nah, sure. Merge commit allowed. Really? Name with owner. I think that's what we need. So public string name with owner. And I think what that means is it's gonna be the owner / name thing, right? It's gonna be what we call the full name. So yeah, parent, yeah. Does it kind of look like it doesn't have the default branch to you? So far, I'm not seeing what is the default branch in this repo. Stargazer account. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Public integer Stargazer count. Submodules. Oh, I was gonna use submodules these days. Temp clone token template repository updated at. Seems like a good piece of information to have. So right here, updated. Right. URL. Nah, I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna be useful for now, right? You know what? I don't want to be short-sighted. URL does seem like a good idea. So let's do string. Oh, it's not even a string. I mean, nah, it's not even a string. So we'll do it when we need it. Can create project, can administer, can subscribe, can update. Default, no, none of these. I'm not using any of these. So it doesn't seem like, okay, let's do the visibility thing. Because I think we're using it private, public, internal. Is it something we're using? Yes, it is. Okay, so this does call for adding another enum, but you know what? I'm not really parsing it right now, right? So you know what? Let's just stick with what we have for now, because we haven't even found the default branch thing, right? So branch protection rules, no. D does have D for branch ref. There we go. The ref associated with the repository default branch. So if I go into a ref, it's gonna be the name repository, ID, target. I think it works. So it's gonna be a ref, right? Yeah, it's gonna be a ref. I think we have a ref. So if I go into base, do I have a ref? Not really. Wait, we don't have a ref? P request ref, no ref? Fields, maybe? There we go, ref DTO. So we have name and prefix. That's perfect. Let's go into it. So they have ID DTO. So we do have ID. We have name. We have prefix. Repository, we don't need that. Get target. You know what? We probably need get target, right? So get target is gonna point to the latest commit. I want to actually, what does it point to? This is the SHA. This is the commit. This is commit ID SHA repo. So get object. Do I have get object? We do not have get object. What exactly do we need out of the default branch? Ref, right? Code button. Let's take a look what the code button expect from the what it expects from the ref. So going to view is going to be control, and for code button, right? And it's going to have a code behind. On click, there you go. Does it even have reference? Yep, so it's gonna get the get reference, right? And navigate to that page. Get ref, create get ref. Oh god, I really have lots of helpers in here. Like, not even kidding. This is ref. What even is this? So I'm taking. Wait, reference. What? If it start with ref/heads, I'm taking the substring from that, right? Like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm taking the rest. So I'm basically getting the branch name, right? So why do I not just use the branch name? That's interesting. But we have name, ID, the prefix. I think so far that's what we need, right? That is what we need. Keep thinking about this get object thing though. Well, if so far we don't need it, then we don't need it. I'll do what's the easiest for now. So default branch, there we go. Default branch, we're gonna do default branch. Default branch ref, there you go. Public ref DTO default branch ref. Okay, so that's pretty good. I think that's all we need for now. Okay, that's all we need for now. But well, hopefully we can get something out of this because it's not looking good for me. So what I need, it seems like I either need to construct the repo DTO with all of this information somewhere, right? Or I need to include it in my GraphQL query, which didn't seem plausible. So I'm thinking probably what I'll do right now is where did I even get started? Oh, so I'm fixing this one, so I need to fix the repo DTO first. Got it. What a pain. What a pain. Okay, let's go and fix the repo name first. Activity. So right here, you probably want the name with owner, right? And the repo is it's not gonna be activity repo anymore. So what is activity? Oh wait, activity itself needs to be changed. My God. Oh my God. Activity view model. Actually, it should never taken an activity, right? In a way. Oh, because I'm not changing activities. What do we do in this case? What do we do? Well, one thing we might want to do, and I'm just, thinking out loud here, is that we can do this. So in here, we have helpers extensions. So what we can do is to add an extension right here. We can do public static repo DTO. And we can do to repo DTO and do this repository repo, right? And yeah, we can construct that ourselves. So return new repo DTO, and we're just filling everything ourselves. All right, so first thing first, IDE. We need to encode it into base 64. because basically we have this repo ID here, right? And repo ID is a long, so it's a number. But what they actually have is this. So you know what? For all of the cases, we're gonna get the ID from an API, but what we use is gonna be this ID, right? So when we're setting it, we don't actually need to set this one. So let's set repo ID instead, right? To be repo.id. Name is name with owner is repo.full name. All right, let's get the list of items right here on the left and full screen this whole thing. Create that, update that. It's pretty explanatory, self-explanatory. Description, right? That seems only fair. So have the same object. Fork count. Wait, they have fork. Oh, okay. There you go. Fork count. Forking allowed. Allow. No, it does. They don't have that. Okay, what do they have? What do they have for name? Yeah, they don't have that. We'll just don't set it for now. Okay. Yeah, this is this is falling apart really quickly. Is fork repo.fork is private is repo dot is private. There we go. Stargazer count. There we go. There we go. Default branch ref is new. Ref DTO with the ID being, we don't know. They don't have IDs. Okay. Name. You know what? This is a good time to call for another helper method. So, you know what? Do we really need that? So we're gonna have repository, and they're gonna have default branch somewhere, right? Default branch. And what is the format of this thing? Yeah, what is the format of this thing? This is interesting. We are working with it here. We're using that as the ref. Okay, so I think we can just do a new ref DTO with the name being repo.name. Sorry, no, default branch for now. Wait, ref DTO is abstract? It is. Okay, why do we make it abstract? Where do we reference this? Wait. Why is it abstract when no one implements it? Then how do we even get an implementation from it? Right? Doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. So yeah, as you can see here, a ref is really just its own thing. No one implements ref, so that means ref is ref, right? Like if you got a ref, these are the things you're getting. So let's not make it abstract. Hope that doesn't break a bunch of things. But yeah, I think that should do it. Ref and oh yeah, because the prefix thing, currently we don't have a good way to detect what is the prefix. What we can do is to later on fetch it from Graphql Query, and that's gonna be a way better way to do this. But for right now, we'll just do this, right? Well, really quickly, for all of, where are my things? For all of my view models, activity view models, I'll just do to repo DTO. All right. Hopefully I can do that and not cause any issues down the line. Right, so right here, I finally have the repo fixed for at least this one. So right now, let's flip back here. I think we have everything we need, right? So repo, default branch, we have that. We just do default branch ref dot name for now. So we passed in the same thing for that one. Repo name is going to be name with, yeah, it's going to be name with owner. So the signature is still the same for us. Yeah. Actor. Yeah, so I don't think we need to change anything else. Especially for the commits activity. Does it even use commit? Oh my god, like commits. Have a list of commits, right? Do we even have that? Why do I have public over here? Ah, it's public. Push. Damn it. Open the wrong one. I need to find out push event. There we go. Well, nevertheless, the activity was still broken. So push event. No, push should be push activity, right? Why is it push event activity? Push activity. Okay, I think they're pretty much the same thing. So push event activity is right here. What do we use? So this part is still the same. We need to change it to ref dot name. That part is fixed. And yeah, so right here is all the commits. We're not really, oh, there we go. So we're expecting it to be a certain type, and we're gonna have a commit button with the SHA message and repository. So at least we need these three things from it, right? So yeah, look alive. Let's take a look at this one. So this is the count, right? To commit string converter. Yeah, what is this? Oh, so it's just not okay. We I collection. So guess what? We don't even need it to be this specific, right? So right here we can do var, and here we can just do some sort of I collection of object, and that'll be fine, right? Yeah, so this one should be fun. I mean, this one should be fine. And the other one, we just need to make sure commits have these three items at least, right? So once again, let's go into the commit object just to see, you know. Actually, we already have it here. Get reference, yeah. Well, anyways, let's keep it open over here and flip back to our DTOs, because we do have DTOs for this, right? So we have commit DTO, and they kind of compare already. So right here we have OID, which is the SHA abbreviated, so we don't need to convert it ourselves. Additions, I don't even know what this is, but nevertheless we have it, right? And we have the author, which is pretty good, right? And we have the committer, which they also have. What else we have? Message, which is crucial. I think they need one more thing, right? We don't really have Git reference and verification, but I think we'll be fine. So let's add a reference to the repo, I guess. Do we really need a repo in this? I don't think we need a repo here, right? Like commit. Why does a commit need to know about the repo? Like I would understand if we have repo ID, but the repo object itself. I mean, it is used somewhere, right? So it makes sense to have it. How is it used? So I have the commits, and then right here we pass in the repo to the commit button. I don't know. This does not feel like a best practice to me, right? Like, repo is the parent. Why does the child need to have a reference of the parent in itself? Do we have that anywhere in our TTO already? Because I don't feel like that's the best way to do anything. Comment. Do we have it? No, right? Like I don't think I've changed any of these in a specific way to have repos inside of them. No, I don't think so. So this calls for an architecture change, I think. So let's see here. Because the best way to do it, right, is that for everything related to the repo, we have one object living in the memory for that repo, and everyone needs to reference the repo reference to that object, and that's just the best way to do it currently. And I don't feel like adding a bunch of things. Right, like adding a bunch of reference to the repository is gonna be a good idea. Or is it? Not sure. I'm not sure. Because these are my own DTOs, right? these are my own details, and I don't want to start adding things that doesn't make sense to me. If a commit wants to access to the repo, then the commit better have the repo's ID maybe, and then we can get the repo if that's needed. But we're talking about view models here, right? Yeah, view models should be different from models. So yeah, my vote says we don't have models. We do that in view models. So that does mean we need to make some changes in here. So we can no longer pass in repository nilly-willy, right? Actually, can we xbind something here? Like xbind view model dot repo, is that a thing? Research time. Accessing. Yep, let's do UWP xbind to view model object and item template. Sorry, knocked on the microphone. This is kind of challenging. Oh, okay, so xbind use the fields from the partial class. Data context of properties. So I think what I'll do in this case, because I really don't know the behavior of what this will be, and GitHub will not compile for now for us to do any sort of testing. So let's start a very simple project, testing project for ourselves, right? Let's do UWP, blind cap, next. Yeah, app3 seems like an appropriate name for this. Okay, so this is our experiment, playground, whatever you want to call it. And right here, what have I done? Right here, let's define something, right? So, oh geez, public I collection of, let's have a class of foo, right? Name value is good enough. And can have a collection of foo called foos, right? And public string of title, right? Right here we can do fools and new list. Sure. And new fool. Name is bar. Value is foo bar. It's good enough. Just for fun, let's have another one, call it bar2 and the foo bar2. And after this will be title is my title, right? And let's delete the reference to this. And yeah, I think that's pretty good. So right here, what I'm gonna do is to do this. List view. I'm gonna do list view item template, data template, grid, stack panel, text block, and the text is gonna give it an X bind of title, which I can already see is probably not gonna work. Right, let's do it this way. And oh no. So here item source is X bind foos mode is gonna be one way, right? And we're gonna copy this and paste it twice, and this is gonna be binding to name. Same thing here, binding, and we're gonna bind it to value. All right, now let's run it. So there we go. Title not found on the type data template. So not good, right? We need to find a way to bind to I really don't see any workarounds for this. Do I have to? Do I have to? Okay. As much as I hate it, currently I don't see a workaround that'll give me a clean solution. So I'm thinking maybe we add it for now. Yeah, although I really don't like that solution. Okay. Okay, that's everything we need. Okay. Yeah, this is like much easier if we want to use our own, because we don't have to create that many things just to, start using it. So let's go into extensions. Right here, let's do public static. What do we do here? It's commit, right? Commit DTO to commit DTO. I can see myself do a lot of this from now. So we'll take this commit, right? And then we'll return new commit DTO, and we're gonna fill in all the objects from here. And yep, there we go. So OID is commit shut. Abbreviated OID is, I think we had a way to, where does that have? Get reference. Wait. Oh, never mind. Doesn't have abbreviated OID. That is fine. So let's see what's the best way to move forward. I think we have a converter that we can use. Common? Nope. Does commit short to short converter? Yeah, there you go. So substring. that is a sure thing. So dot substring, all right. Okay, next, editions, we don't have that. Authored by committer, I don't know, do we have that? Authored by committer. I mean, I don't know, it's a hack. Let's see here. So author needs to be a new get actor DTO. And it doesn't have a lot of fields, so don't worry about it, right? So name is that, and email. Oh, they have email. That's cool. Date is pretty much the same. User. Oh, hope they have the same ones. Okay, so login is This is where we run into issues. So committer does not have informations about the GitHub username, right? Oh, there we go, user. All right. No, this thing should be user DTO, right? All right. Okay, so after author, we're gonna do the same for, because we have ref and sha. What is ref? Okay, it doesn't matter. Actually, doesn't matter though. Do I have ref here? We don't. We do not. Why is it colored weird? Oh, is it because, okay. Wait, but it knows, right? This is weird. This is weird. Okay. Committer, author, yeah, I don't know. Message is the message. Author date. I mean, it just doesn't have a date for push, right? So if we have like get references, still no dates. Yeah. So let's not have push. But that's pretty much everything for now. I think, right? Yeah, I'm just thinking if we need the ref for this though. Let's define the repo for now. Repository dot to repo DTO. All right. Well, actually, the main thing is that they don't have repository already inside of them, right? So the view model here, no, not this one. Where was it? Push. Not you. There we go. So the main thing here is that we're taking whatever commits that we already have and we're getting everything the same, right? All the same. All of it, all the same. And then we're passing the repo. So we cannot just do this the other way around here, right? So let's do that. Repo DTO here and call it repo DTO, and then we just pass that in instead of using this one, right? I think that's pretty much it. Select commit, and then we return commit.to commit DTO, and we're gonna use that, and we're gonna pass in repo. Is that gonna do it? So we need to use this one. Oh, so there's a major difference. We created commit DTO somewhere over here yesterday, right? Yep. Yeah, so I think we just delete this. If it goes well, okay, there you go. So right now, I think everything is fine. Okay, now if we go back to, we can close this one now. Don't need that one. Okay, so now we need some changes here, right? So this is obviously referencing the commit DTOs now instead of what it used to reference. So things needs to be a little different. We no longer have SHA, we have OID, right? And I know they're expecting a longer one, so I'm not passing in the abbreviated OID. Message is still the same, so we don't have to worry about that. Repo, we do have that in the in here right now, but it's different. So I think we need to go into the commit button and see what we have broken over there. So commit button, it's gonna be in commit and commit button. Okay, so here's the thing, right? We're expecting a repo here, but it is expecting it to be repository. So that's the first thing we need to change. We need to change this into a repo DTO. But first thing first, let's see where it is referenced. You know what? Let's just change this like right away. Because what I've noticed is that if we do change it, we get those squiggly lines in the XAML file, which kind of helps us know what we have broken, right? So let's do that. Copy, paste, here and there as well. That should be it. And right here we can just do name with owner. Wait, why do we do that in the first place? Get full name. Oh, because it's not stable. All right. So this is what we're gonna do. So here, name with owner, bang. All right. That way it's stable, okay? And I think we have fixed it. There we go. Create with get ref needs to be fixed, and this is repo detail page arcs needs to be fixed. Right, so this one is referencing, like, this is what I'm talking about, right? Here we are in models, and somehow we have a dependency on the library. It's just not good. So let's do repo DTO. And switch that around for all the references we have for repository, right? That's gonna make us less dependent, right? So now you see model is only dependent on model, right? So this thing is ready to be in its own project. It's the brilliant part of the operation. That does mean we need to make some changes. So right here, we need to do default branch ref dot name, I think. If it's broken, then I don't know what to do. Code viewer or create with branch. So yeah, same thing over here, right? Model, somehow relying on a library, and it's all because we have this, and it goes up to here. So same thing here, model, right? No need to reference system, but it's referencing OctoKit. So repository, repo. What is this? What is this? With repo. What? And we're referencing this? Dot with repo. Okay. I mean, we're gonna break many things, but let's do it. Repo DTO. Change that. Right? Breaking change. There we go. And no longer dependent on OctoKit. That needs to change too. Or does it? Create with branch. So if we close this one, flip back here, this is still broken. But it's good because that repo has changed. So we need to change this as well. Just need to bring it in and do the same for these 3 lines. Yeah, we should be good. And here is ref.name. Okay. Is that a thing? that it? That's everything we broke? No longer need to depend on the library. Bam. Right? Get ref. Oh, I see. Yep. Okay, so why do we do that? Oh, so here, so page arcs. No, this is fixed. So create with get ref repo DTO. Is this still not fixed? Why is this still not fixed? Oh, this is a different one. Yep. So repository needs to be replaced. Needs to be brought in. Needs to be deleted. And it all looks okay, actually. So this is fine. And I don't know who's referencing on click, but this whole file is okay now. Also, you see a control used to reference AutoKit, right? Controls shouldn't reference AutoKit. And there, no longer needs that. All right, so yeah, control, dependency injection, it's okay. UI, it's okay. Pages, what are you referencing pages for? Oh, on click. So that's kind of okay because UI referencing UI, you know. Services, not so much, right? Services, yeah, this should really come from dependency properties instead of dependency injection. But we'll fix that later. And everything else is like models. Models, is that okay though? Maybe. Controls referencing models. Yeah, we'll see. Ideally, I don't want controls to be referencing models, but it's not like we're fixing everything today, so I'm good right now. Wait, are we really good? So we fixed the references, but the commit button though, bind commit ID. What is commit ID? Oh, SHA. That's okay. We're passing in the correct thing. Text is the message, and the whole thing is a button, and then click is on click. Click ticky clack. You know what? This is fine, but on click. Yeah, sure. This is okay. This is okay. I'm okay with it. So that means we have fixed push event activity. And I kind of have the feeling that we have broken even more things. And yeah. Sorry about that. That was my alarm telling me it is 8 a.m. Okay. I'm kind of glad that this is happening because using GraphQL has pushed me to define a bunch of my own models, and by doing that, lots of files has been changed, and that kind of pushed me into the direction refactoring and rethink the dependency of certain parts of the app. And in the future, that's going to help, right? So in the future, if we, because I do plan to move GitHub to Windows App SDK and WinUI 3, and it's going to happen pretty soon. I'm going to start doing the work right after this version. That's going to be version 1.5. There's going to be small version bumps in between just to have, fixes and small features. But the overall big effort is going to be where we, move things to Windows App SDK. And when that happens, I don't want to still have everything to be monolithic to in one big project, right? I want things to have to be in different projects, so the models can be models and view models can be view models. Controls should just know the UI, right? And the data layer should just know the model and the data layer. The controls and the integration can have pieces of UI that stitched together, so that's okay to have view models, right? To depend on the view models, and the view models can depend on the services, and the services is gonna be standalone, and then the platform and the apps, they should all be independent from each other. So yeah, it's kind of this is pushing me in the right direction, and I do appreciate the work that this specific effort has pushed me to do. But right now it is a pain. So repo code views for get repository. So this might be what we want to change next. Right? Because arg.repo gives us repo DTO. Right? Yeah, so repo DTO. And this whole method of getting repo needs to be we need to think about this again. So getting repository, that needs to be reliable, right? So we don't want it to be just looking for local data, and lots of times we do that to refresh the data. So yeah, so we should go and look in the server, but instead of looking for it that way, we should probably do it in GraphQL. Yeah, I mean, we probably don't have to repo. So this is just repo ID, and that'll just solve everything, right? And this repo should be repo DTO. So var octokit repo, right? And the repo can just be octokit repo.to repo DTO. And yeah, there we go, right? Default branch, selected git ref, ref.name. That kind of fixes this part. Okay, same thing over here. Commendable commit dot repository, which is no longer a thing, or is it still a thing? Okay, so this is expecting a repo DTO. This is a repository. So the easiest thing to do right now, commendable commit that repository. Actually, what is this? Repo selectable. And it has the repository. This thing is model, and same way it's still referencing a library, right? I don't care. I can care less about it referencing system, but still I'm not too happy about it referencing system. So commendable commit. It really shouldn't be in models, right? This should be a commend. Yep. There you go. Repo selectable. So this references repository, and I think we want to change this. Yeah, I have no idea why it does that. None of these, right? None of these are used. And this should reference to repo DTO, and so should you. And we should bring it in and remove reference to that, so it now only reference to model reference to MVVM. I'm too sure why it does that. It should either be a view model, right? So this should be view model if that's the case. Refactor should be view model since it references MVVM toolkit, right? But yeah, it's something we have to do in the next refactor. But this can break many things now. Repository committable. Yep. So repository. No. So we're calling it repository. The shitty name, man. Repo. There we go. So repo equals to repo, but model, right? Yeah, no. Repo DTO. Okay, that's good. Commit. This is pissing me off, man. You know what? Currently it is not broken, so I'm not gonna fix it. And that's just officially too many things to fix for a day. And we do have to start. I do have to start my work day now. Or I can take a break before I start my work day. So yeah, let's take a look what we have changed so far. I haven't made a commit in a long time because things are all kinds of broken. I've made changes in many places. All right, so it's hard for me to even make What the hell? It's hard for me to even make a conclusion of what I did. So I'm thinking, oh Jesus, what are these? I don't even know if some of these will work. I added many things, the DTOs. I removed them from places and added them to other places, right? Yeah, GitHub is legitimately broken right now. I'm not even kidding. Yeah, so to make a conclusion, really, is that today we continued our journey of adopting GraphQL in one of our slowest APIs in an effort to make the app faster, right? So everything is for making the app perform better, giving the user more flexibility by fetching even more data and presenting more data on the UI. It's all good intention, but it does take a long time to do. And since GitHub doesn't really have a good API or SDK for using GraphQL, I made myself. I made the API call myself and parsing all of the results myself. And the result is that I have to shoehorning that new data model into my existing data model. Like many people say, it is like fixing a car while driving it. So you have to be careful not to break your existing feature. So that's what I'm doing right now. I have triggered many errors in the code, and I'll need to fix all of them before GitHub can even compile again, right? So that's gonna be a painful and long journey. But along the way, we're learning lots of things. For example, we're refactoring parts of the app and making the dependency map a little more clear, and we're learning where to put things in the future so that the project can be scalable in the future when we adopt Windows App SDK. So it's all good learnings here. And I do see like progress. Like we have like 191 changes right now, and I'm still not ready to make a commit because nothing will nothing will compile, and if we commit these changes, we're just polluting the Git history. So as soon as I fix my 86 errors, and potentially I'll double that every time I change another file that's referenced by many other files. So all good. We'll fix everything, and once everything compiles, I'll make a commit, and once it builds and we can see the UI, we will have a much clearer picture of what we're doing here. So until then, thank you for watching the stream today. I'll try to be back on my regular stream schedule, but I'll see where life takes me. You know how it goes. One day you have some time, and the other day not so much, right? This is a pandemic. Nothing is very predictable, but hopefully things are opening up again. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.